everyone. Gary O'Neill, Intuitive Solutions. Once again, back-to-back post, video post, which is great. And today's post is really just talking about, you hear that old saying about work-life balance. And I've always thought that was a kind of a peculiar statement, because I remember this must have been about a year ago. I think it was Colin Cowherd from ESPN, was talking about being truly unbalanced is really the big road to success. And I tend to agree with that, because being unbalanced means you are dedicating a lot of yourself, a lot of your time to something that is important to you. Maybe it's a goal you have set. Maybe it's a business you're trying to get started and up off the ground. Maybe it's about losing weight. But, we often talk about work-life balance, and in a lot of ways I don't like that term, because it's really the most impossible thing that we can do in terms of trying to accomplish our goals, whether they're personal, whether they're family, whatever it may be. It's almost impossible to strike a balance between everything in your life. And, I've always been a believer of, to truly be great at something, to truly be successful, you're going to have to practice the art of being unbalanced. And unbalanced is not a bad thing. I think people think when you say, oh, you're going to be unbalanced means, okay, you don't spend any time with your family, you don't do this, you don't do that. But the fact is that to be great at something, you will be putting a lot more time into those things. And I don't care if it's you want to be a better husband, a better dad, a better business person, whatever it is, you're going to put that time in there. And when you really look at the great innovators and the great success stories, of our time, they were extremely uneven and unbalanced people. They were, if it's a football player, he spends an inordinate amount of time, learning plays, on the road, all of those things to be a great football player. To be a great businessman, oftentimes you're working 80-hour weeks, you're working every weekend, you're doing everything you can to get your business, off the ground. So, don't tear yourself apart about trying to have this super balance between everything you do, because all it does is it leads to frustration. And, I've been a traveler my whole life. I've traveled on average sometimes, 100 days out of the year, just, going to Europe and Asia and all these different business trips that I used to go on. Used to take me away from my family quite a bit. But my concept was I might have to sacrifice a little today in terms of that, but in hopes of being able to, have that financial freedom or have that success to where I can dictate my schedule a little bit better and be able to have a little bit more balance between a lot more things in my life. So as entrepreneurs and startup businesses, don't get frustrated at being unbalanced, because it's a natural thing on the route to success. But once you get there, then you can write your own ticket. It's like Tim Ferriss. He wrote the 4-Hour Workweek. He probably had to sacrifice quite a bit in those initial years to get to a point where now he can do what he wants when he wants. So always keep that in mind in your business. I wanted to make this post short because I know it's what people struggle with. I continuously struggle with trying to strike a balance with everything. But I try not to beat myself up all the time about it, because I know what I'm trying to do is probably going to help me achieve that. And it's not to say that I'm not living in the moment and living in today, but, I'm trying to think a little bit more long term and really understand, what that end product's going to be and what that end life is going to be, and let that kind of be the engine that pulls me through. So this is really just about understanding being unbalanced and uneven, and to truly be great, you got to give up something. The Mark Zuckerbergs, the Michael Jordans, the Larry Birds, any great actor you see, they've all had to give it up initially, and that's part of the journey to get to that point where then you can write your own ticket. So keep that in mind, because to struggle with it all the time can kind of get you depressed. It can get you down. It can kind of make you feel like, man, is this worth it? but it is worth it, you know. And it's not to say that you shouldn't spend, you know, time in other things that you love to do, but make sure you're putting your best times and efforts into making your life fruitful and powerful and enjoyable. So, quick post. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.